Jared, Georgia Tech transfer, of course. This week we pick up those guys. Any additional motivation?
You try to keep that on the back burner and just play it like it's a regular game. But obviously, it's some connections and old guys and coaches. So it'll be a good one. It was super fun to get to play against the old guys and see them after the game last year. So yeah, it'll be a good one.
Was that your first touchdown?
In college, yeah, that was my first touchdown in college.
What's the feeling for a defensive lineman that to get his hands on the ball and score?
It was great, yeah. We call it a thick six, man. So it was, it was a great feeling. I haven't walked across that solid white line in a long time, so I was very blessed.
Uh, I asked Zamari Walton the last time we had him in here. I mean, you faced against Zamari and Kilo Stone, if I'm not mistaken. Just when they were going through that whole transfer portal process, just what was your communication like with him? What was the general message of what they were getting if should they come here?
Yeah, those two and Jam as well. It was just told him about my experience and how I loved the transition was smooth and how the guys took me in, how the scheme is really fitting on both sides of the ball for anybody who wants to come and compete right away. And just try to stress all the good things, you know what I mean, and keep it real with them as real as I could, and they ended up making a little pipeline, so I'm very excited about that. And they've been playing really well. Jam's made some crazy plays on special teams. Kilo's been doing his things, already racked up a sack, and then Zamari obviously starts for us, out there, and he's been really solid this year too. So really thankful to have those guys.
After looking back on the film, what do you think went well for you and the defensive line, and what are some things that could have gone better?
Okay, I think we rushed well as a collective. I think we kept our rush lanes tight. I don't feel like their backup had a lot of space to go. I think we went in and we didn't let Pratt not playing affect how we were going to rush the passer and how we were going to play as a defense. And we didn't let that weighing down on the effort or anything like that. So, I just think as a collective, we played pretty good. We could obviously always play faster, always play more physical. It gets ugly down there in the trenches sometimes, and you want to be as strong at the point of attack as you can be. So, yeah, that's definitely a focus moving forward.
What did you feel like was the difference between the first half and the second half? I mean, dominated the second half, kind of didn't in the first half.
Lane put it in a great way in the team meeting this morning, talking about how we warmed up inside last week, and we were using that to our advantage to kind of save some energy. And then you get out there, and it's a big environment. First time we're playing or warming up in front of a big crowd like that. The music's jumping, guys are screaming and running around and getting jacked. So maybe just played a part in us coming out a little bit slow, expelling some energy early on that we could have kept in to start quicker, and definitely something we're holding going into next week.
How valuable is a game like Saturday where y'all go down, face some adversity, and then overcome it? As we know, we're entering in closer to SEC play where you're going to be playing tough opponents week in, week out.
Right. I think that's super valuable to experience early in the season. It's something we didn't experience last year. And then we kind of got hit in the mouth there in the back half and hadn't really faced adversity from a good team yet. And so I think that'll speak volumes into our improvement moving forward. And I think it'll be a quick turnaround into next week.
Jared, I think Tulane had over 80 snaps. Seemed like you guys got better even though it was hot as the game went on. Can you feel the increased depth on this defense? Were you able to feel that on Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that just speaks to our depth, and we're able to just roll guys. And I always say this whenever something like this comes up, that their O-line doesn't sub at all, right? Regardless of where they're at on the field, what personnel they got in, right? They're keeping the same O-line the whole game, so we have to use that to our advantage when we can just roll guys and just go full speed the entire game. The trust is unbelievable. The bond is like no other bond that I've had in a room, and everybody wants to see everybody eat. So I'm super grateful, to have those guys around me.
Georgia Tech scored 48 points last week. What are you guys looking to do to kind of prevent them from doing that?
Just keep rolling how we're rolling, man. Keep the preparation where it needs to be. Super detailed in practice, super physical with the scout team. we need the scout guys to come out and give a great look. This will be a team coming off like you said, a high scoring game and with a little bit of confidence. I know they fell early in a game that they should have won. So, I feel that, they're going to come in with a little chip on their shoulder, and, the attention has to be, up there to, to combat that from the start to the finish. So, yeah.
Going back to that touchdown, it seems like afterwards you kind of walked on the sideline and stared down some Tulane fans. What was going through your head in that moment?
Man, all I remembered was us coming out and them chanting F Ole Miss at the very start of the game, man. And I wanted to stick it to them in that moment. It was a great moment. I was getting countless birds and some explicit language, but I soaked it in and I enjoyed it. In that moment, I'm willing to take that for the guys.
You talked about that thick six being your first collegiate touchdown. Was there one of those in high school or any other point during your college career or football career?
I never returned anything defensively in high school, but I scored a couple 2-point conversions. Had a couple catches for some 2-point conversions, and then the last time I scored a touchdown for real, I was in 5th grade. I played tight end, little double covered slot fade. You know what I mean? The guys know to go to OT. The guys at the crib know if you ask them. So that was my last time really scoring 6.
I know you don't really care about last year, but you guys, as a defense, were able to shut Georgia Tech out. Just from what you've seen so far, is that offense, how different is it looking?
Well, when you retain a guy on staff or promote a guy on staff, there is going to be some overlap. But Coach Key has his own philosophies and things that he wants to bring and enforce in his identity with that offense as a whole. So, you know what I mean? Like, yes, we're obviously cutting up film from last year and personnel things and guys that they are returning as starters, but they've already played 2 games, so that's what we're looking at most and what they're running right now. And yeah, man, just keeping preparation paramount and you know what I mean, sticking to our guns.
Lane was talking about how every team now is so different from year to year. Is it difficult at all to flush the 42-0 victory and know that this year's going to be completely different and it starts out 0-0?
No, I don't think so at all, especially when you're playing at a program that also uses the transfer portal as heavily as we do, right? We're a totally different team as well. So a lot of the guys that are here and making an impact weren't even here last year to be a part of that win. So it's a totally fresh mindset going into this game. We're gelled and combined as a defense and ready to go out there and attack this week just like we would attack any other week with any other opponent.
Jared, I don't mean to keep harping on the depth thing. I'm just curious. Did your legs feel fresher in the fourth quarter Saturday? Could you feel it?
Yeah, absolutely. We went at halftime. We got, we did our deal with the hydration and Miranda coming around and getting us right. But even going into halftime, I felt fresher than I, had felt going into halftime in a game where we were, not like a Mercer where, the score was what it was. In a game where we felt like it was going to maybe go down to all 4 quarters, I definitely felt super fresh and also, super confident, mentally fresh as well. There wasn't a lot of mental clutter. We knew the situation going in to halftime, and we came out and made the adjustments we needed to make. And, yeah, absolutely, we got the job done.
Jared, you talked about your room collectively, but as you look in the mirror personally, what are some things that you'd like to see, in yourself become better as we move on?
Yeah, I would just, I would love to just continue to grow in every single technique, right? I'm playing pretty much every technique you can play across the defensive line. So just trying to grow in my versatility and it's an old saying, being a jack of all trades, but, I'd like to also be a master of all. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah.